There are a few times that I question my own leadership. So one time, me and our investor go around the world to pitch for investment, and then we were in his meeting room doing debrief. He banged on the table and say, "Hey Jeff, you are not fit to be CEO because you can't even pitch properly. You can't even get investor interested in your idea." I think at that time, that feedback really made me doubt myself.
So as a leader, how do you define your role, and how has that role changed, when you just started out and then where you are now? Hey Jeffrey, welcome to Hot Truth.
Thank you for the invitation.
Yeah, so initially when I spoke to you about recording this podcast, you mentioned we should talk about leadership. It feels like leadership is something that's always on top of your mind. Why is that?
Yeah, I think over the years of building the company, I think a lot of things all related to people, how to motivate a team, how to rally the team, how to build a good team. I think it's all about people. Even though if you have a vision, end of the day, it's the people and the team that make it happen.
And so you think your leadership ability on bringing people together and motivating them is the most important factor in growing Patsnap?
I can only say when I reflect on my own journey, in terms of motivating the team, building the team is what I have made many mistakes, and I have learned a lot that I wish I can learn earlier.
Yeah. So you started Patsnap right out of college. Did you think about leadership at all when you started?
Not at all. So when I first started, right after graduated from NUS, all I thought about is building a cool product that many people will use. That I thought when you build a cool product and there are many users to it, then you have a business. But as time goes by, as I mentioned, to build a cool product, you need a team. So that is where I got a lot of realization along the journey that is all about the people.
So as a leader, how do you define your role? And how has that role changed, when you just started out and then where you are now?
I think it depends on different stages of the company. When Patsnap is small and young, then literally I do a lot of things. I need to develop the code myself. I need to be the salesperson myself, and I need to be my own HR, need to do my own finance, own accounting. So I think that is the early days. As the team size grew, the things I do definitely has evolved. I would say spend more time in working with the team instead of me working on the things, on the task itself. And also, of course, as a startup who always run out of money, always perpetually in a fundraising mode. And I think over the years, as companies continue to grow, definitely find myself have to spend more time in thinking more strategically, more long-term, more about the direction of the business, the direction of the market, the product market fit. So I would say this is how my role in the business has evolved over the years.
Yeah. So to summarize, it's more like, you're the main fundraising person, also building and aligning and motivating the team. And then the third thing is the strategy. These are the three areas now from a leadership perspective.
From a high level, yes, but every day still have to sometimes jump into specific issue, specific product discussion, specific budget discussion. Like now is the budget time. We have to do the plan and budget for next year. Have to go through the plan. So I think as and when there are tasks that our team can't really address well, then I have to jump in and try to fix it.
Okay. How do you decide this? So when there is a decision to be made, do you rely on getting information and advice from your maybe N minus one team, or you, like you said, jump in to where the problem is, gather the information and make a decision? What is your approach usually?
Definitely, as company grow, team size grow, I have to rely on my management team, because they are the one that manage their team, and it's actually may not be appropriate that I jump directly to the issue, because they may have better insights as well, and we have the reporting line. So definitely the first data input I will collect definitely from my -1 team. And sometimes I will go to -2 or even -3 as well, because sometimes after my -1 describe to me the issue, I find it there are still certain pieces missing, that in order for me to come out a more holistic overview, a better picture, it will help me with my decision making.
Could you give an
day-to-day.
example of one where you go like maybe deeper to collect information?
There are many aspects. I think one will be related to, for example, let's say the product roadmap that we need to decide for the next few quarters. And to decide that, my team will first, of course, propose that this should be the product features that we develop. And after having their input, I will then go to visit customers with my salesperson and listen to their feedback as well. What do they think about this product feature that we are going to launch? Would that be helpful? And then I will do my own research from online and everything and combine together. Then we'll come back and discuss with the product team again on, okay, let's maybe we do 80% of this, but this 20%, how about if we can try something like this? Yeah.
Okay. So is this how you set the high level goals as well at the company level? Or do you use like a framework like OKR or things like that?
Yes, we do use OKR,
Okay.
but like now we are doing our budget planning. So definitely we start with a top-down approach, what we call, and then a bottom-up approach. So on a top-down approach, based on where Patsnap want to be in 3 years' time, and therefore next year we should achieve such growth rate, such profitability, and that will be the top-down goal I set. And in my mind, I will kind of have visualized how, on a high level, how this top-down goal can be achieved, and then at the same time let our team to do their bottom-up approach and then see where the gaps sit and then try to bridge the gap and discuss together.
Is the alignment always easy, aligning the entire company to the high level goals?
I will say, for me at least, this is where I spend the most of the time to align. First, to align the high level goal for the next 3 years goal, next year goals, even after aligning on the goal. And I think every department have their own perspective from where they sit. Then you have to align every department on how we can work towards that goal together, because every department will have to do their OKR, their tasks in order to achieve that. And every department obviously will say, why can't other department do more? My one is, this is fine. Yeah. So this is where there are a lot of alignment need to be achieved.
Any best practices that you've learned on how to do this efficiently so that it doesn't become the bottleneck, like just setting the OKRs?
I don't think I have a magic bullet or best practice for that. I think every time we have to argue and debate multiple times, multiple rounds, have to find different way to talk to each stakeholder to get alignment. Yeah. I think just a lot of talking to them, sharing the rationale for this, offer to think through the challenge they are facing to achieve that goal from their perspective, from their department, try to brainstorm more about it.
Do you think having shared common values helps with this?
Definitely. I think over the years, one thing I find, having shared common value, or you have the trust among each other, I think that really helps a lot. Because I think a lot of times when everyone is not aligned, partly is because they're also thinking for themselves. Like they want to make sure the target that they set for themselves, they can achieve it.
So what
Really
values are
keywords.
important to you?
I think over the years, I feel more and more strongly someone with openness, someone with growth mindset. Because I think so far, all these years, I met very intelligent people, but a lot of times when people feel they are not in a comfortable position, they will tend to do things that is more defensive, that may, in the sense that they may not be so open to feedback, may not be so open to even ask for help. And that even make the situation worse. So yeah, openness, reflection, and self-awareness, I think is very important.
If openness and growth mindset are the values that you value the most personally, how do you go out and build a team with similar mindset?
I would say I don't have an exact answer for that yet. But definitely over the years, after you work with someone, you can kind of tell if that trait is there. Because when you build trust with someone, that trust will allow them to lower their guard and be more open. So yeah, I think it's hard from just 1-2 interview session to try to say whether someone have those traits. What I will try to do is I will, not just me, I will get people whom I work with for a long time, whom I know their style, whom I trust, and help me to interview as well and give me their perspective on that person, values and personality. And then together we triangulate, then hopefully we increase our odds of success in finding the right person.
Yeah.
But there is still, so far, I would say our chances of finding good people is not high. I would say 50-50. Yeah.
Okay, that was something else that I wanted to ask. Like, how often have you hired the wrong person?
I mean, over my careers, I think I've hired many, and not that those people are bad or what. It's just not the right fit from a value perspective, from the skill set perspective. Because, for example, one is as company grow and there are a lot of changes, a lot of uncertainty. Like one mistake I make or lesson I learned is we tend to hire, we thought will have the relevant experience, someone from a larger corporation to do that. But actually, this is not the right way to address this problem. Because when in our environment, especially nowadays, AI, everything, the world is changing very fast. Actually, the experience, if we have, will be good. But more important is that adaptability.
The growth mindset.
Which comes back to, for someone to be adaptable, he or she need to be really be open. And to be open, they need to have that self-awareness, that reflection. Yeah.
You mentioned sometimes some of the hires are not like value, not good value or something like that. What do you mean by that?
I won't say not good value, but not a right value fit with us.
Okay. The company culture value.
Yeah, company culture value. So they might emphasize need to think through more before we act. But sometimes at that stage of the company, we value move fast, iterate, try things. If it doesn't work, we learn from it. So I think not the best value fit. Yeah.
So do you prefer then hiring just raw talent rather than experienced professional, or?
Yeah. That is the hard things as well. In our type of environment, growing a business, you always want someone that come in that can just take on and fly. So if you hire raw talent, it takes time to train them, at least a few years. We are now trying to do that, to hire new graduate talent and then train them for the next few years.
So When compared to when you started, right? Like, how has your hiring process changed? Earlier, you mentioned about bringing one of your trusted lieutenants to maybe also give a feedback on the candidates. Anything else that you've changed over the years?
I would say we have tried different things over the years.
Yeah.
Some continue to be part of the process, some drops out. I would say in the past, I used to have candidate to present what I call a lifeline. So they will present their life story. So how, when they were born, how they grew up, how their family is, their career up until now. That kind of help tells their values. I would say for the last few years, kind of more standard process. So have our HR to interview, and of course for key role, I will have our VP HR to interview because I trust her judgment on assessing people. And then, yeah, that is how our current interview process is.
What are the things that you've dropped?
We used to even test MBTI character test. Those we drop. I think nowadays just the hiring manager, HR, and for key person we get one or two more senior executive to interview to cross check.
So I see you often travel across the various locations that you guys operate in. Why is that? Is that because there are parts of your job that you're not able to delegate to your N-1?
I think definitely running a global business is tough because a lot of times you need to be there. Not so much about delegation, but having the presence of me or any key people on site, working with them on the problem. I think that trust, that camaraderie, that is important. Yeah, for I think through fully remote will be hard. At least Patsnap, we haven't find that to work. Yeah, so a lot of times when I travel is to go on site, talk to our managers, talk to our people on the front line, and what issue, and we discuss it together instead of just a remote call. I think that added a lot of closeness.
Yeah. So it's not because, you find it difficult to delegate certain tasks.
I would love to delegate many stuff because that will free up a lot of my time.
Yeah.
But with them, at the same time, I also gain more insight into the front line, what is actually happening. That also help inform my own decision-making process as well.
Now, recently, Paul Graham wrote this famous blog on founder mode versus manager mode. What do you think about this? Which approach do you think works better?
I think need both. Yeah, but I can only say, I think definitely a company that is driven by founder is a bit different because this company is started and built by the founder. So the founder touch is definitely very different. But in terms of day-to-day management, I would say it's a combination of both. You definitely can't jump into every single issue. Then you are not delegating. Then the company can't scale. But at the same time, I believe that at the right time, right juncture, the right issue, the founder, and not just the founder, I even say the VPs or whoever need to be able to dive into the actual issue. So in my opinion, it's more about, I believe that for key problem solver, not just founder, for anyone else, you need to be at this time at 50,000 foot view discussing strategic view. But at the next moment, you can go down to 5,000 foot view and discuss the actual issue with the actual engineers, salesperson, and to solve it.
So how has this, has your style changed as the company scaled?
So one thing is definitely my communication method. Yeah. So when we are small, 10, 15 people, you can literally just get everyone to a dinner and then just rally them, talk about the company vision, future. when go to few hundred people, you can't do that anymore. And when company is small, I used to be the first one to the office, last one to leave, lead by example. But when we have multiple officers, like you can't do that as well. So one thing I find that as company grow, as team size grow, the communication method have to be more multifaceted. So the communication are more multifaceted to make sure everyone or as many as possible in the business, people get the message, get the direction, get the strategy. And then also as company grow, I find that you have to keep your message, your strategy, your key point as clear as possible. Because if you have, from my level, maybe if you have 2, 3, 4 things you want to do, but as you cascade down in 1,000+ people organization, that become 50, 100 things.
Yeah.
And everyone don't know which one is the key one.
Key ones.
So that has been some of the change in how I work with the team.
What would you say is like one of your lowest moment as a leader?
Yeah, definitely many times. Even up until now, still some days you just feel like you got punched, and then you still have to step back up and just solve the problem. There are definitely, I would say, low moments in this career so far, in building Patsnap so far. Times that when seems like no one believe in you, everyone against your idea, and times that when you have pitched to investor multiple times and no one wanted to invest in you, times that the team has a lot of internal fighting, you have to get alignment, and there are product launch that is not successful, sales target that didn't hit. I think all these contribute a lot of low moment. Yeah.
What is the worst that you would you would say?
Looking back, I won't say it's worse, but I will say some of the more memorable and I think valuable lesson is there are a few times that I question my own leadership. So one time, I think in the early stage of Patsnap, me and our investor go around the world to pitch for investment. And after we went to Europe, went to US, Silicon Valley, and came back, and we couldn't get one investor to interested in our business. And then we were in his meeting room doing debrief, and then he banged on the table and say, "Hey Jeff, you are not fit to be CEO because you can't even pitch properly. You can't even get investor interested in your idea. You need to be very confident when you pitch. You need to know your staff better than them." So I think at that time, that feedback really made me doubt myself, because at that time, when I look back, indeed, I was quite not confident, insecure, all this. And that's why I couldn't project myself better. That was definitely one moment that hit me strong, that made me think and doubt myself whether I'm fit to continue to lead the team, to continue to move forward. I think when I look back this event, I think is really, really valuable, even though at that time is quite painful, because that investor is also someone I respect a lot. And when someone you respect and kind of your mentor and say you are not fit to be CEO, that definitely hurts. So, but when I look back, I think that made me reflect a lot.
Yeah. As long as you're determined and then have the ability to quickly learn, I think you make progress. And I don't think you would get here without improving, for sure.
That one, yes, definitely have make many mistakes, bang our head on the wall many times. Yeah. But I always also tell myself there's still a long way to go as well. There are still many things I don't know. I'm still learning. Yeah.
So one of the things that you mentioned as like low moments is like conflicts. How do you deal with conflicts?
It's not easy. I think no one likes
Yeah.
to have conflict or deal with conflict, but it's there. Yeah, conflict will always be there, either internal team or external. I think one thing I learned that to deal with conflict or many so-called low moments in life is really ask myself hard, like why I do this, to know very clear what is my motivation. I think knowing very clear my motivation, my why, I think that help power through moments that I dislike or not comfortable with.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a very good point. A good way to think about um, dealing with conflicts. Um, I've had another person tell me that, uh, let's say if you're running a business and if you think rationally and act what is in the best interest of the business, then it's easier to deal with conflicts or make hard decisions and things like that.
I think on paper, yes, what is best for the business, but at the same time, what exactly is best for the business? Because the future, no one knows. Everyone can argue about it. What is the best course of action for the business? That's number one. Number two is rationally, but we are all emotional
Yeah, we are not
human
rational
beings.
people.
Yeah. So there are always emotional component to it.
Yeah.
Which, for example, like as Patsnap grows, we have many what I call old Patsnappers have been with us for quite a while, but yeah, some of them can't cope with the business growth. So what do you do with it? Yeah. So do you just let them go, or what, or give them a chance, or what? Like every scenario is different. Yeah.
How do you let them go, or like how do you decide first of all, like to let them go or give another chance?
I think over the years, what I find is as long as they still have the urge, the will to continue to improve and grow, I think coming back to the self-reflection, awareness, wanting to grow, I think that always put more emphasis on that, give more chances on that. The other thing is also based on if they are more in an individual contributor role or are they managing a team. Because if they are managing a team, then if they are not performing, the impact to the business is larger.
Yeah.
And that will be less tolerable or not, and it's worse for the business. And if in the event that really have to let someone go, then we treat them with respect, nicely. Just be very honest about the reason. And I think usually they understand and it works out okay.
So do you do it yourself or do you delegate it to?
For old Patsnappers, then I will definitely talk to them.
When you have such low moments, one of the things that people might have mental health issues or just burnout, like as a founder, right? How have you dealt with issues like this?
Yeah, I think over the last few years, especially, I'm more conscious of my own mental health. I did more meditation. I went on spiritual journey, spend time with nature. I will exercise more because I went through the burnout and even some, I think, periods of depression. Because went through that, now I know what that felt like. So I'm now more aware of my day-to-day mood, my mental health. So, and always will try to keep myself at a relatively better mood or mental health. Yeah. So that is how I'm dealing with it now.
Is there anything in particular any particular thing that you do regularly to make sure that you don't to avoid a burnout? Or
I think I like nature. I would like to go to island, go to beach, hiking, all this. So I would tend to do outdoor nature sports more. Yeah, it's hard for me to still take time off When I'm even out there on an island, go to a beach, will still think about works, but at least I know is I'm at those moments I am recharging myself. Yeah. Overall, I know coming back from that type of trip, overall my energy level is better than before going to that trip.
Yeah, I think this is one of the most important things because the whole thing is a marathon instead of like a sprint, right? So, if you were to summarize like the most important qualities that a leader might, what is important from a leadership perspective, what would those be?
There are many. Yeah, I think as a leader, I find that increasingly also as the business grows, you need to have a very clear vision, can really think more and more future ahead, because the whole organization will be working based on your direction. And if there is a slight miss in the direction, then a lot of effort will go to waste. I also find that leaders have to just have the capability to rally the team, to have the team around you, to trust you, and that even though it's difficult, tough journey ahead, they are willing to put in the effort to do that with you, for you. And of course, I think being determined as well. Because if you have the vision, if you have the ideas, but if you don't have enough strong conviction and determination to go through it, then it's hard to convince other people to go through it with you.
Do you work with anyone as like a coach or something?
Used to for a short period of time,
Okay.
like a coach or mentor. But now I would say I talk to many people. So I will talk to my entrepreneurs peers. I talk to many investors, or I will just talk to people whom I find always give me refreshing view, that are also those who challenge me, that just tell me, hey, what I'm thinking along this may not be right. Like I always talk to people that give me different view, so I can digest it and then reflect upon it.
Any reason why the coaches or the mentors don't work? And
I think I definitely have friends that find those work for me because I travel a lot, and I think for a coach to work better, really effectively, the coach has to really immerse in your team, in the business as well, to spend some time spending time with my team member, with my exec team on the business. And wow, because our team are quite global, so far it's hard for me to find one coach that really can be really spend time with our team globally, understand everyone's character, and help give the right feedback and advice.
I guess it might be more useful, like you said, to talk to people who have gone through the same shit.
Yeah, I find that the other thing is talk to entrepreneurs who went through similar shit, or slightly ahead of us in terms of the development of the company. So yeah, I think talking to them, they may not give you the solution, but having them share their own experience, how they went through their own challenge, that just give you a lot of assurance, a lot of like, hey, there are ways to solve this. Yeah.
Yeah. Is there a particular leader that you admire?
I think, yeah, Elon Musk is definitely
Someone close to home, like in Southeast Asia.
I think LKY, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's definitely have read about his biography, and many times definitely LKY have shown when tough time is needed, he will have strong conviction and went through with it. Yeah.
So your job is very tough. How do you manage your work versus personal and family time? And are they helpful or complementary?
I think I'm lucky. I think have a very understanding family. They've been very supportive. Let me kind of spend time with building the business. I will try to, whenever can, I will try to spend time with them by traveling together. So if I go to a place to attend a conference, and if they are free, we'll try to bring them along, travel together. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. We talked about your lowest moment as a leader. What would you say is like the proudest moment so far as a leader?
Actually, I think back, I don't have any proudest specific moment, but definitely looking back, I'm grateful for the journey so far, and grateful for the team, for all the people I have met and helped me along the way. Looking back on this journey is not easy, and I may not want to go through it one more time again, but definitely no regret in having been through this journey. I think it made me grow, and I have a lot of diverse, different experience that many of my peers may not have. Yeah, I would say in general, there's no such moment that I feel the proudest, but definitely a lot of gratefulness.
Thank you. This has been great, Jeff. Thank you so much for taking the time to do this again.
Thank you. Thank you.